And so Liz Plank was a perfect person for them to go after because first and foremost, if you don't know anything about her, I had never heard her name before this scandal. She's kind of branded herself as like the ultimate feminist.
Didn't know who she was. This was her first movie. And I was singled out as you treated her like a fan. And then I was dressed down afterwards, which could have been a career ender because when you're an intern, you're the most dispensable person on the project.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
In a shocking turn of events, conservative commentator Candace Owens has reportedly leaked a list of alleged victims linked to Hollywood actress Blake Lively. The revelation has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, raising questions about the nature of the allegations and the credibility of the claims. Owens, known for her controversial takes and deep dives into high-profile scandals, has hinted that the list contains names that could expose hidden truths about Lively's past. As the story unfolds, the public is left wondering, what exactly has been uncovered, and how will this impact Lively's career and reputation?
Liz Plank was the co-host of the Man Enough podcast alongside Justin Baldoni. And then, as soon as Blake Lively filed her complaint, Liz Plank was out, instantly said she quit, a show of support and solidarity with Blake after everything dropped. And people began looking into it. And particularly there was this TikToker, Steph with the Deets, who had showed that perhaps the reason that motivated her to get on the side of Blake Lively without actually looking into anything or at least speaking to her co-host and hearing his side of things may have been what we have discovered since, a repeat sort of Ryan Reynolds psychopathic strategy of essentially love bombing people.
Now other footage is coming out of Blake Lively admitting, hey, when I get involved with projects, they hire me as the actress, and sometimes I don't really tell them, but I actually want to come in and I want to rewrite it, and I want to be a producer, and I want to do all of these things. She's literally admitted all of this blatantly. This is just the first time that it's ended up.
How old is Blake Lively, by the way?
30s, I believe.
34. How much longer do you think Ryan Reynolds sticks around with her?
Did any of you guys see Deadpool Wolverine at all? Yeah. So do you remember the scene where he's nice Paul and he's saying like, oh, she bounced back right after her pregnancy. It's okay. I can say that I'm a feminist. They're literally mocking Justin Baldoni.
Downfall of Blake is super important because it represents our collective awakening, specifically to celebrities that we should not be idolizing. And they hate that.
So do you feel free now to try everything? What is the next 5 years of, well, in terms of trying, do you
see the movie?
I did see the movie. But
we're going to give you a pop quiz.
There's going to be a pop quiz every minute of it.
Yeah.
In a resurfaced 2009 interview with Glamour magazine, Blake Lively candidly discussed her initial reservations about working with Penn Badgley on the set of Gossip Girl. Lively admitted that upon learning of Badgley's casting, she was upset and even attempted to sway her fellow cast members against him. She confessed, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him. However, her perspective changed quickly as she recognized Badgley's genuine and charming nature, leading her to acknowledge her misjudgment within
a 2009 Glamour UK interview by Blake Lively. And in her interview, she admitted to trying to poison the cast of Gossip Girl, which is where she made her name, against her co-star Penn Badgley, who played her love interest, Dan Humphrey, on the show. She said, at first I was so upset that they had hired him, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him. And she goes on to say, but then they noticed that he wasn't a jerk and was actually a nice, charming person. And almost immediately I realized it too. But it took me about a week to admit it. And here's the thing. Reports were that Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, who played best friends on that show, were not friends during the 6-season run of the show. Leighton Meester and Penn Badgley and other Gossip Girl co-stars have remained silent in the wake of the Baldoni legal drama. Neither Meester nor Badgley follow Lively on Instagram.
This shows proof positive, or you know what, potentially proof positive, that there is a history of her doing this type of behavior, going out of her way to talk ish, put out rumors, say bad things, say negative things about other co-stars, either because she just is in her feelings about that person, not happy about that person being in the show, or because she feels, I don't know, maybe because she just wants to start drama for the sake of starting drama. I don't know what it is, but clearly we're seeing the embryo stage, like the embryo stasis, or the embryo stage, the beginnings, right, of this whole thing to what it has flowered or blossomed into now.
However, Taylor Momsen, another co-star from the show, stated that she has no bad memories of Penn Badgley, suggesting that he was never problematic. This raises the possibility that Blake Lively was simply shaping her own narrative against him. If Taylor had no issues with Penn, perhaps Blake's claims were more rooted in personal bias rather than any...
I mean, but I don't have any bad memories of you, so that's good.
Great.
So that's
bad memories of you.
And we'll leave it at that. And we'll leave it at that. No, I always had fun filming our scenes together, especially in the beginning. We worked a lot. Like we worked a lot together.
Yeah, actually, but you know, I mean, I'm almost like, oh. By the end, we really didn't work together.
No,
at all.
No,
you were always doing crazy
storyline. I was off being a drug dealer and whatever else they were.
Jed Wallace, the owner of a crisis mitigation firm, has filed a defamation lawsuit against Blake Lively. Wallace claims that Lively falsely accused him of orchestrating an online smear campaign against her, resulting in significant damage to his reputation. This countersuit adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing legal disputes involving Lively and Baldoni.
I promise you, I've been trying to think of other things to talk about, but another day, another file. And this actually has to do with one of the most interesting aspects of this entire case. Blake Lively is now being sued by Jed Wallace of Street Relations, Inc. He has said that she has cost him millions of dollars in reputational harm and is suing her for defamation. Lively's counsel released a statement saying that this is just someone else that's trying to sue her into oblivion for speaking out, and that they are confident that this will get dismissed, which I find that to be really interesting because this is someone that they alleged in her original complaint was really responsible or had a part in allegedly the whole astroturfing, because they alleged that Wallace was responsible for planting negative comments and negative story, which Wallace has maintained that he had no part in any negative PR tactics against Lively. Which it was interesting that her defense basically was like, oh, this is nothing, it'll get dismissed, yada, yada, yada. Because in her filings, they said that Wallace was the one who weaponized a digital army. I don't know if that's a direct quote, but basically that it was either real accounts or possibly bot farms. I don't really know. I probably need to read that again. But basically that was orchestrated by Wallace and, you know, other members of Baldoni's team. Which, like, if I was naming someone who, like, had taken part in this, like, alleged astroturfing, I'd be like, yeah, see you in court. Can't wait to find out your method. I don't know. Maybe that's probably not the most professional response, which is also probably why I'm not a lawyer and I'm here on TikTok. Right.
Blake Lively's legal filings mention an incident in which she claims a man entered her room without permission while she was breastfeeding. However, contradictory reports suggest that Lively had actually granted permission for the individual to enter. This discrepancy raises questions about the accuracy of the allegations and the potential for misunderstandings in high-stress situations.
Imagine for a second, you invite a man to your trailer, you're breastfeeding. You say, you can come in, but you got to turn around. So he, knock, knock, I'm here. Come on in. Turn around. He locks eyes with you. And the second it takes for him to turn around, and you add that to the lawsuit, Blake Lively, gossip girl, you must be stopped. That man was standing and staring at the wall, singing show tunes to himself for all we know, counting stars, counting specks of dust and paint. And you said that was sexual harassment. At this point, you gotta blame it on Ryan Reynolds. Say he wanted the idea for a movie. Say that he thought that it was gonna be a funny ha-ha-ha moment. You know how he jokes. Say we all know how he jokes because it's not working. You doomed us.
Reports suggest that Blake Lively's alleged bullying behavior on the set of A Simple Favor contributed to a toxic work environment. Assistant Director Barbara Seaman claims she was forced to resign due to the distress caused by Lively's conduct. As these allegations surface alongside other legal disputes, they raise serious questions about Lively's professional ethics and treatment of colleagues.
Blake Lively was the reason an assistant director quit A Simple Favor. Allegedly, of course. And we learned this from Henry Golding's post. Henry Golding, who was in A Simple Favor, made a post with the poster for another Simple Favor. And under his post, Barbed Wire TV had commented, "I worked with you on the first one. My experience with everyone was absolutely amazing, except for a certain someone who is the reason I quit being an AD. Guess who that person is? Wish you all the best with this, though." And Barbed Wire TV went on to say, "I want to avoid attention around this, but I will say she was cruel to many. I know I cried my way home many nights because you try so hard to please someone who is never pleased and puts you down constantly. I can't believe it's actually getting back at her. Karma is real." And Barbed Wire TV, whose real name is Barbara Jaworski, definitely seems to work in like the production world. And for further proof, here's her IMDb. Seems to be under her maiden name. Says she's known for Barbed Wire TV, which obviously that's even her account name. Under projects, you'll see A Simple Favor. She was the 4th assistant director. So not only did we learn that she quit, but apparently she made many people cry behind the scenes.
Another alleged victim, Jamie, recounted an experience from nearly 20 years ago when she was a young intern in the entertainment industry. She explained that at just 20 years old, she was assigned the simple task of handing out water bottles on set while Blake Lively, then 17, was promoting the sisterhood of the tribe.
You were very young and inexperienced in the industry, and then you got a job as an intern?
Yeah, and I had turned 20 a week before, so I was young. And she was young, I believe, 17, and I always reserve the right to say people can change, to put that out there.
Yeah.
But I was pointed out and singled out as someone that treated her like a fan when, as someone who grew up on set and in this world, I knew you don't talk to talent.
Jamie stated that she had no interaction with Lively, did not speak to her, and only walked past her in the green room. However, Lively later accused her of treating her like a fan and making her uncomfortable. As a result, Jamie was singled out for this alleged behavior and reprimanded, an experience she described as frightening, especially as an intern, since she feared it could...
She wasn't even famous at that point, was she? Did you know who she was?
No. So I was an intern on a show that she was doing press for, and they were going to talk about Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. It was 3 of the 4 stars. I believe it was Alexis Bledel who wasn't there. And my job was to hand out water bottles to whoever needed it on set that day. And so I didn't talk to her. I had no interaction with her. I walked by her in the green room and I went to set as I do. And then she was like, "Oh, that girl Did I hang up?
No,
okay.
You're there. Yeah.
That girl treated me like a fan. That girl made me uncomfortable."
This resurfaced interview has gained attention amidst Blake Lively's ongoing legal disputes with her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni. The legal battle includes serious allegations and has attracted significant media coverage. The trial is scheduled for March 2026, with the potential involvement of other high-profile individuals.
Now there are more things starting to come out showing that there are breadcrumbs, that there is a possibility that she's been doing this since she's been in the system, since she's been in the Hollywood game. And it's insane to me because this is also her going after another co-star on a hit show. Now, Gossip Girl was a very, very popular show. For those of y'all who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys know or were first introduced to Blake Lively through that show.
The controversy dates back to the troubled production of the romantic drama It Ends With Us, where tensions on set and behind the scenes quickly escalated into a full-blown legal battle. Blake Lively, once known for her polished public image and acclaimed acting career, has found herself embroiled in a bitter dispute after filing complaints alleging that Justin Baldoni engaged in inappropriate on-set behavior.
Justin Baldoni is now involving Taylor Swift in his lawsuit against Blake Lively. So Justin Baldoni is suing Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicists for over $400 million for all the It Ends With Us drama. Now he's name-dropping Taylor Swift, Blake's bestie, in the mix. Thankfully, Taylor Swift is not being sued but she's mentioned in his 179-page paper complaint. And he's alleging that Taylor's fame was used to pressure him during production. And it really all stems from this penthouse situation where Blake and Ryan live. Apparently, there was a meeting there with all of them, and Taylor Swift was actually present. And Blake ended up rewriting one of the scenes. And even after the meeting was over, Baldoni texted Blake this, saying, "I gotta put my glasses on for this one. The font is too small." Also was working on the rooftop scene today. Really love what you did. Makes it so much more fun and interesting, and I would have felt the same way without Ryan and Taylor.
This was a sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. So now she has filed a lawsuit, and I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move, and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. And instead the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni is going all the way to the wall on this. His lawyer is already giving interviews explaining just how nasty her team has played this. The lawyer's name is Brian Friedman. He stopped by the Megyn Kelly show. And here's some of the things that he had to say. First, he says there used to never be a sexual claim. There never was a sexual claim until she went to that civil rights office. Take a listen.
There was actually no allegation of sexual harassment until the lawsuit was.
The allegations, ranging from claims of misconduct to accusations of a retaliatory smear campaign, have not only disrupted the film's production, but also ignited a media.
We're going to be talking all things Blake Lively and her legal complaint that she's filed against her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni. Yes, the It Ends With Us movie drama does in fact not end. What's interesting about this story to me is the Justin Baldoni of it all. He is a self-proclaimed male feminist. He's woke. He speaks out against sexual assault and sexual harassment, even toxic masculinity. And now in this legal complaint filed by Blake Lively, he's being accused of sexual harassment.
I challenge you to see if you can use the same qualities that you feel make you a man to go deeper into yourself. And will you be man enough to stand up to other men when you hear locker room talk, when you hear stories of sexual harassment, when you hear your boys talking about grabbing ass or getting her drunk? Will you actually stand up and do something so that one day we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words "me too"?
This is going to be really awkward if these allegations are true. I will say, just for the record, I'm not a fan of either of these individuals, and something about both of them rubs me the wrong way, so I'm not sure what exactly the real truth is here.
Followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass from people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled, "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story, and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Ryan Reynolds, and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say certain.
Taylor Swift, Blake Lively's close friend, has not publicly supported her, raising questions about Lively's claims. Swift, known for fiercely defending her friends, remaining silent could suggest doubts about the credibility of Lively's allegations against Justin Baldoni. In some cases, silence speaks louder than words, and Swift's decision not to take a stand may hint that there is more to the story than what has been presented.
Here's a fan conspiracy that's going viral saying, the reason why I believe Justin Baldoni is because Taylor Swift hasn't defended Blake Lively publicly. You know, hey, it might have some weight. Have a listen.
To say this out loud because I haven't seen anybody else say it. Does nobody else think that Taylor Swift is the dead giveaway? That Taylor Swift is the reason that none of it makes any sense with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? Like, Blake Lively has to be lying about being sexually harassed. And the reason I say that is she couldn't even convince her best friend.
And by the way, other people like Umbrella Guy have said this is why she's doing this fishing expedition with the subpoenas, because they're looking to further smear Justin Baldoni because they don't actually have any evidence of the sexual harassment. And if you really are friends with somebody, like if Taylor Swift really believes Blake, she might say something like, look, let's let this all play out, but I'm standing by my friend. I believe my friend. I think that would be so fair to do. And the fact that Blake hasn't done that at all, I think does speak volumes, because in the end, if Blake Lively is telling the truth, you wouldn't even want to be friends with Taylor Swift at the end of this because she hasn't had your back. Like, you want your friends to defend you. So the fact that the friends aren't defending you, what does that say? Okay, Lady C is a Twitter account that has gone viral for their sources regarding It Ends With Us. And I'm just going to read what they have to say, because they're putting pressure on Colleen Hoover to throw Blake Lively under the bus.
However, actress Jenny Slate has reportedly spoken out in support of Blake Lively. Slate's defense highlights a divide among industry professionals, with some backing Lively while others question the validity of her claims. This support adds another layer to the controversy, influencing public perception of the
right. I've tried to make jokes that don't land, and I understand this doesn't land. But Jenny Slate, of all people now, if she is the person that they are trying to hold back on Blake Lively's side, and now she's going to be the person that's going to come out and be this person that's silent and will be on Blake Lively's team tomorrow when this last final big bombshell complaint comes out, this amended complaint, which people are saying, and Be Better is maybe saying will be this person that has this detail, and this is just a riff right now. I think we may have just cracked the case that Jenny Slate may not be the best person to use as your star witness or your star, co-plaintiff or whatever the hell you want to call it. I mean, name one couple where the man says, I just love hitting my girlfriend.
It's difficult to determine the truth without concrete evidence, as high-profile cases like this often involve multiple perspectives and legal complexities.